So thank you very much, Aaron, for coming to my podcast, Business Breakthrough. It's really nice privilege to have you in here. I have seen you to speak in the conference. I don't know, it was last year or 2 years ago. It was here in the UK. And your story is amazing. Obviously, you are gold medalist in Paralympics. You've achieved a lot of things. So I know you went from ups and downs and ups and downs. I heard your story, and it's so nice to have you here. So can you share maybe a little bit about yourself, who you are? Obviously, I know you are a speaker now as well. Tell us a little bit about yourself so the audience can get to know you.
Okay, a little bit about me. So I'm Aaron Phipps, and my biggest claim to fame is that I was playing wheelchair rugby, which is the most ridiculous wheelchair sport there is, where we crash into each other in wheelchairs. I became a Paralympian because I had meningitis when I was 15. I became a bilateral below-knee amputee, and I started playing sport for fun and ended up competing at the top level, which is daft considering where I came from. But you never know which route life's going to take. It takes its twists and turns, and mine certainly took a turn, and I ended up doing some pretty cool stuff.
Okay, amazing. I mean, so obviously it was quite difficult times for you. Obviously, when you were 15, all these things would happen. But like, how did you build that mindset to go from something quite serious would happen, which obviously not many people can even imagine would happen to you physically and obviously on your mindset, to be able to then go to sports like rugby, which is on the wheelchair, and become a gold medalist? Like, how that even happens? Because a lot of people, they just give up on life, or they just go on the sideways and like they don't really want to even try. So how was it for you? Like, is there anybody helped you? Did you read any book? Like, how was it started?
So when I was first in hospital, I did speak to a clinical psychologist quite early on. They asked me if I wanted to speak to someone, and I clearly said yes. And I think that helped me rewire my brain. But for me, it was the worst and best thing that ever happened to me. Worst for obvious reasons, but best because it gave me this mindset and I felt invincible. I was like, that can't kill me, nothing can. And I think sometimes some things that come across as a negative are actually a gift, because what it did for me was it made me very determined, made me very aware of my mortality. I stopped worrying about the things that I was worrying about before. When you've literally stared death in the face, you're not worried about putting your wheelie bins out on a Friday night and the other sort of stuff that people moan about. And it gave me a drive that I never had before, and it made me start to take opportunities. So it started through wheelchair racing. I'd love to tell you that like it was my lifelong ambition to become a Paralympian, and that just wasn't the case. What being poorly really did was made me take opportunities, and I started raising money for charity, and I started doing races in a wheelchair, and it just went from there. But it wasn't, we say mindset, like I wasn't like, oh yeah, I've got this, like mindset is it's like everyone has to be perfect all the time. We have to always be really driven. That wasn't the case at all. All I did was tried things, and it led to things, and it opened doors for me. But the problem is most people won't unlock that. If you don't unlock the first thing, then the second thing won't happen. So it's not like I was like, I'm going to come out of this, I'm going to beat it and everything. I just it just almost happened by default. But what it made me do was take opportunities.
Yes. One step at a time. I really like what you said in here, like even in the hospital, then you've been asked if you want to speak to someone and you said yes. I think that's really powerful, because it's when there is an offer, like a help offer, then it's important to say yes or even ask for help, because I feel like when bad things happening to people, I was one of them, when certain different things in life and business, it's very difficult to ask for help or receive help, and just by that saying yes, it really opened doors to new thinking, new opportunities, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned about being invisible because you were obviously close to death, and that kind of experience. I have read many books and listened to a lot of stories, and that's where I feel like, reading these books of people who went through that, or listening you to speak on stage and hearing your story, sometimes we feel like, this client didn't do it, or that happened. And when you hear some of these stories, then you realize, like, there is much more worse things which can happen, and actually we are very good what's happening. And then I feel like I see that a lot of people, they are going through very difficult situations like yours. Then like you said, like they are invisible. That a lot of things which were boring you in the back, they don't bother you at the moment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It did make me invincible. I was just, I guess I played a bit of sport before I was poorly, but I wouldn't say boo to a goose. I was a bit of a wimp. And after that happened, I was like, that can't kill me, nothing can. And it just put things in perspective. It just put things into perspective. It put it in their box. And you think, why am I worried about these things? Like, these aren't things to be worried about. We tend to like think about what's in front of us. We don't sort of look at the big picture. But when you've had something like that happen to you, if you can find the positives in it, then it's almost a gift. But like
Yeah.
you alluded to, I've met lots of people as well who do go the other way, sadly, and it kind of completely overwhelms them, and then they don't seem to be able to bounce back from it. For me, it wasn't. It was the catalyst. It was the spark that gave me the drive to push me forward. I was the other way around. I wasn't making the best choices as a teenager, and I
Mhm.
don't know what route my life would have gone down. I'm not saying I would have ended up in prison or anything, but I wasn't particularly very driven. I wanted to be a graphic designer, an artist. I'm pretty sure that would have never happened because I wasn't motivated enough. And then this gave me the spark to go on and achieve what I've achieved.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I know that there is this story. Don't really remember from where, but there were these two people. One is the homeless, and the other one is very successful, having the life the fullest. And when they ask, like, how is it you ended up like that, and they will have the same answer, because my dad or my parents were an alcoholic. So one had continued the path, obviously stay homeless. The other one did something and take the new perspective for that. But the same thing happened to two different people, and everybody take it differently. And what is it you are focusing right now? So obviously, I know you are a speaker. So what is it you do in a day-to-day life? Like how is your life look like? What is it you do? Tell us about that.
Okay, so I retired from playing wheelchair rugby after the Paris Paralympics. My goal was to get my daughters to the games. So I went back in 2017 with the goal of getting my family there. But COVID happened. There was no
Mhm.
spectators. We won a gold medal, which was fantastic, but I still had unfinished business. So I continued to Paris, and it was a tough Paralympic cycle. Lots of my teammates retired, and we came fourth. So,
Mhm.
but what's really sad about it is, from a sports perspective, what we achieved with the team that we had, like 6 rookies and 6 senior players, was probably on par with a gold medal. But for me, I managed to get my daughters there, so that was completed. That was amazing, really beautiful to be able to get my family there to watch me compete. Um, I managed about 3 months without a goal, and my wife said, "You're driving me mad. You've got to do something." So I'm now doing pistol shooting. So I'm not I'm not at a high level yet, but I'm now trying to get on the Paralympic pathway for pistol shooting. So better never stops. Problem is, Vincent, is I can't switch this off. It's like a
Yeah.
blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it pushes me to do all these things, but it's a curse because I can't turn it off. I can never be settled. So I will always have to have a goal or something that I'm working towards. But in my business life, so that's sport. But in my business life, yeah, I'm still working as a speaker, delivering uh, keynotes to companies. I'm normally opening or closing a conference. That's where I shine. They bring me in to set it off with a bang. So I'm like the fireworks at the start or at the end. And
Mhm.
I've also got, that's my motivational speaking, and I've also got a high performance talk I deliver alongside my coach John, called Path to Gold, and that's more specific to management teams, or C-suite. That talk is for people who are on a journey. So we focus on the block of time in lockdown where me and John lost all our resources. We trained on a path for 6 months, and we had enormous performance gains. So that's a different talk. So me, Path to Goal. Blood, Sweat, and Wheelchairs. That's my motivational talk, which is normally used as an abstract by companies. But Path to Gold is my high performance kind of management team talk that I deliver alongside John.
Mhm. Mhm. And do you mainly focus in here in the UK? Do you go abroad? What is it? Where usually you go?
Well, for my own speaking, then I've worked abroad. Me and John have only delivered in the UK so far because it's relatively new. But yeah, if we had the opportunity to, of course, we'd go anywhere. We love it. If you give us an audience who wants to chat about high performance, sport, marginal gains, and the little nuances, then we're your guys. But
Yes.
we've just got a brand new website as well, if I can give it a plug. It's pathtogold.co.uk. We did it around the wrong way. We started speaking and getting bookings, and then we've had to go back and create a LinkedIn page and make a website and things. So we did it around the wrong way, but that doesn't matter.
It doesn't need to be necessarily wrong way. I mean, it's a way. I think the more important is that you speak on stage and you deliver that. If it works, even without the website or LinkedIn, that's amazing. majority of the people, they have amazing websites, amazing LinkedIn profile, but they don't speak.
Yeah, no,
So,
well,
so getting on those
generally,
stages, it's not easy. And if you are able to get there, that's all what it matters.
generally, people I'd worked with anyway, I said, hey, I've got a new high performance talk. They bit our hand off. So we were sort of victim of our own success. But it was bad when we were sending out inquiries and people go, where's your website? We go, we haven't got one yet, just because it was so new. But we were busy speaking and people were referring us. So it doesn't matter. But we've got one now, pathtogold.co.uk.
Amazing. So, okay, that's very good. Perfect. Thank you very much. I was actually speaking with someone, had another podcast earlier on today with a lady called Sharon, and she is somewhere close to London. And she mentioned that she's part of the group of C-suite, because you just mentioned C-suite, somewhere over there. And they meet, I don't know if they meet once a month, how often they meet, and how long is the meeting for. But what she said, they are bringing a guest speakers for their obviously interaction to make it good. And so I thought perhaps if you'd want, maybe I can introduce you to each other because
Yes, please.
yes, good.
Yeah,
I'll
that'd
do
be
that.
fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to leave this bit in the podcast, but yeah, if you wouldn't
No,
mind referring me across, that'd be.
perfect.
This
Yeah.
is how we make connections, and it's how it works, isn't it? So
That's why I
that'd be
do the
fantastic.
podcast.
Thank you.
That's why I do the podcast, because I meet a lot of people, interesting people. I can learn from them. I can meet them. And the best part is because I made so many podcasts now, so I know so many people. I know so much things about so many people, and I'm just like, okay, who can benefit to each other, and just connecting people and seeing what can happen. And that's the power of relationships. And we had I don't know if you have you been on the conference on the PSA last year?
I didn't make last year because it fell on my daughter's birthday, so I didn't go. But I've been before.
That's fine. And how old is your daughter, if I can ask?
Oh yeah, she's 12, so it was 12th birthday. So yeah, because we always, this is the problem when they have the conference at the same time each year. Because I've said this to them, this isn't fair for people who have significant like, anniversaries, birthdays, dates on those dates. But this year it kind of moves, it flexes about a week this way and a week this way. So this
Yeah.
year I'll be there. I've booked my tickets
Yeah.
already.
Yeah. Absolutely. No. Yeah, that's amazing. Like my daughter, she's just gonna be 10. She's gonna be turning 10. And the thing
Okay.
is, why I'm asking about the conference, because when we speak about the relationship, it's so powerful. Like last year in Telford, I met a guy called Larry Long Jr. He's a speaker from USA, and he never been in Scotland. So I invited him to come to Scotland to my mastermind to play golf with me and to deliver a keynote at the PSA Edinburgh. So we've done that yesterday. And it was amazing because it's like through those conferences, through those connections, like obviously we do the podcast in here, things move and then new opportunities coming, and it's so powerful. So it's like even if it took us a little bit of time to get connected in here, we are talking, and I actually have someone else for you which I would like to introduce you to. I'll tell you at the end. But tell me more about, like, you have one daughter. Do you have any other children or just one?
Yeah, I've got two girls. So I've got two girls. They're 12 and 14, and yeah, so it's very active in my house at the moment. It's
Yeah.
from one day to the next. You just don't know what's going to happen. But I love it. I wouldn't change it, of course. But it is crazy here, absolutely crazy.
I get that. I got three girls.
Okay,
Girls.
yeah, well, yeah, you're in the same boat as
Yeah,
me.
a little bit younger, but for free. And tell me, how do they look at you? Because obviously, you won a gold medal. You obviously achieving a lot now. You decided to do something different. You speak on stages, right? People loves what you do. You have a great story to share. You are engaging, very good. How do they look at you as a dad? It's like, is it my hero? What do they ask you some questions? How this conversation goes?
It's right. It's kind of 50-50. So my daughter, so one of my daughters is quite sporty, the younger daughter, and she's into sport. But she was so competitive when she was younger.
Mhm.
She hated losing, so often she wouldn't participate. And I wonder where she got that from. But now she's starting to come out the other side and realise that sport is about participation, and you can't do sport if you can't lose, because you're going to lose games, you're going to lose races. It's just part and parcel of it. So she's coming out the other side of that, and then I try and coach her through it and about her mindset. That's great. And my other daughter, she's wants to work in the corporate world, so I've brought her along to a few of my keynotes. I'll tell you what, you should do that for networking. It's brilliant. So I give her a pile of business cards, and she goes around giving them out. And if I try and give someone a business card, they're like, but she does. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, this is lovely. Thank you. Like, success rate is through the roof.
Yeah.
So a few times she's had inset days at school when I've been working, so I've taken her with me, and everyone loves her, so that's brilliant. But she's just become head girl at school and is having to deliver talks. So where
Mhm.
she's seen me do it, it doesn't seem to phase her as much, which is good. But
Yes.
I try not to be too pushy because I just want them to be happy. I know it's a cliche, but I just want them to be happy because yes, I am incredibly driven, and as I've already alluded to, I can't switch it off. But I don't want to put that on them or give them, immense pressure that they have to do anything, you know, world class. That's the wrong word. Everything they do is world class, but they don't have to try and win a gold medal and be the best in the world or something like me. As long as they're happy, I don't
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. Everybody has their own path. Everybody has their own direction. And can I ask what is sport is your another daughter do at the moment? Like you mentioned, she's into sports.
Uh, well, she's only 12, so she's doing different things with school and certain ones outside of school. I mean, she did a 5K the other day, first 5K race she'd ever done, and did it in 27 minutes, and came like 36th out of 260 women, including the grown-ups. So a bit like, oh, okay, I think running's going to be her thing, and she did it at school. So it's kind of athletics. I think individual sports for her. She plays
Nice.
a bit of netball, but it was quite funny playing netball because where she's come and watched me play wheelchair rugby, which is very brutal, and I'm screaming in people's faces. The teachers love her because she's in people's faces trying to get the ball off them and stuff. Like, it's just sport, but she's, that doesn't phase her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, I do a little bit of running, and I can tell you, you can tell her she beats me because I run 28 minutes, 4.5 kilometers, because this is my kind of circle around my woodlands.
Yeah.
Uh, so she beats me as well. So
Okay, I'll let her know. I'll tell you. Yeah, and that, I mean, she did that with no training, never done it before, and ran
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's amazing. It's really nice to see when you do things like the kids picks it up because obviously I do some running and my girls are like, "Hey, can I go with you?" And now they start running with me as well. Especially my eldest, and then my wife she does rock climbing now, and then they go rock climbing and they have their own sport. They are doing gymnastics like a lot, but it's like when they see it in action, then it's really powerful because funny thing is, it was just reminded me when I was younger my mom told me like a long time ago like why you don't read any books, when you were very young you read the books and now you don't read any books. It was like 10 years ago. And then I'm like, I don't know. And now when I'm a parent I was thinking about it. I'm like, I actually never seen my mom or dad with a book. They never read the
No,
books. They told me to read the books, but they never read the books. I'm like, okay, I can see it. So obviously I read books, I do sports, and then my kid sees it. So then it's kind of being that role model is so important for the
well, it's competing against these things now with kids, isn't it? Like the instant entertainment, and yeah, and I, I worry about other families because we're quite motivated to try and do things with our children and take them out and teach them that this isn't everything. But for
yeah,
some kids, that's definitely not the case, is it? And they're spending
yeah.
all their time on this. I think we're on a time bomb as a country if we're not careful.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So that's I mean, my daughter's only like 10, 8, and 2.5. So they don't have phones yet. We said later, there is no need for them at the moment. They don't go to school. We do homeschooling. There's no pressure from anybody. So we are trying to get them off that. Tell me about, like, obviously you go and speak now, you do these multiple things. Do you have like some kind of a big mission vision where you see yourself in another 5 years, 10 years, something like something big you want to accomplish, or you are taking it easy and see how it goes?
The shooting, I'd like to get to international level. So my wife's friend said to me the other day, she said, "Can't you just do it for fun?" And I was like, "No, why would I
Yeah.
do that? I'm either trying to be the best in the world or I'm not bothering." So yeah, for shooting, I would like to get to international level, and for the speaking, just bigger stages. I love it, and it's definitely ramping up. But there's still those huge stages that I've not quite got to yet. So I, I think it's such a privileged position to be in to be able to go and tell your story. I think a
Yes.
lot of people take it for granted. They don't give it the gravity it deserves. They turn up 20 minutes before they're going on and things, and that's not how I work. I'm very professional. Never been late to a gig. Would fly the day before if I can, etc.
Yes.
And but I think well, this goes back to this. People are so busy for to get 40, 50 minutes of someone's time where they're just sat there listening to you is a privileged thing, especially now to be able to do. So
Mm.
I want to make that as good as possible. And I also love performing. So I love delivering a keynote. What I really love is when you get like a sales team and you go in and they're like, they're really off with you, and they're sat there looking at you like, what's this going to be? And then by the end, they're crying, and I think, I got you, just through telling the story. And then they're giving you high fives at the end. But I love it when they're a little bit hostile, and I think,
Yeah.
because I'm in the sport, I rub my hands together. I see that as a competition. I'm like, I'm going to get you. And then I just start talking about tracheotomies and blood, and they all go, oh, okay, this is real.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, it's definitely an amazing feeling, the transformation of the room. Or myself, I do it a lot of through masterminds. So I get people for 5 days to different locations in different countries. We just finished one last week in Scotland, before Romania, Poland. We go to Bulgaria in September, and it's like we got this new guy. He came from Birmingham. First time I saw him, and he came like a hostile, like he came from recommendation, but he wasn't sure what's happening. He didn't even know, because we usually, it's like, hey, show up 5 days, don't worry. We don't tell people what is going to be actually happening, because we do it very experiential with the hikes. We did canoeing, we deep dive in the cold water in the loch in Scotland. And he comes and he's like, what's going on? And at the end of the 5 days, he's like, wow, it's amazing. You already signed up to Bulgaria. But like that transformation, it's so powerful. And when you said, like, when somebody's a little bit hostile, it's funny to have that kind of a challenge with that person to see how it's going to work, because you never know how it's going to work out. But it usually does.
And I think as well, like, I might get a room full of people. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors in people's lives. And quite often people contact me afterwards and tell me something quite personal, or if it helps people as well. So of course, I want to make money. It's a business, but I really like that soft side of it as well. When people contact me through social media and say that they're going to do a charity challenge, or something difficult's happened in their life and I've helped them in one way or another, that's really
Mm.
what it's about.
Yeah, yeah. Like Larry was mentioning yesterday, and obviously more speakers are speaking about it. It's like it's very important to be easy work with as a speaker. So like be there for the people. Like if you are a speaker, like be there for that day as well, and just engage with the people, because they really appreciate it. Like I understand some people, very high level celebrities, like yeah, they show up in and out because that'll be crazy for them maybe with the people. But like for us as speakers, like Larry mentioned, like there's so many things you chat with people, and there's one-to-one conversations on the conferences. It really means a lot to those people. And then this is where sometimes they have these aha moments just in that one-to-one conversation, not even sometimes during the keynote, and then they are like, wow, it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Like, as I already said, I've never been late to a gig. Just get there early. Make sure you speak to it's not difficult, is it? I mean, that's probably why we're all members of the Professional Speakers Association, because we want to be professional.
Yes, yes. And obviously I know you had the big challenge when you were 15, but when obviously you were growing up, you were working on certain things, sports, anything, like when you had some challenge, some different one in life or in business, what helped you to overcome it? How do you overcome challenges? Because this is sometimes I ask everybody, because a lot of people, they go through those tough times. Even now, it's a winter season, economic is down. It's not easy to get the business for a lot of people. So if they are feeling like that, they are feeling down, what did you do? Because it maybe inspire some people to do something similar.
Okay, that's a big question. Let me break this down. So, do you mean when I find something challenging, how do I get through it if something's tough?
Yes.
Okay, so it's probably let's talk about this from a few different angles. All right, I'm going to go think about sports. The first thing is um, when we were athletes, we were the product. So because we were the product, uh, UK sport was targeted by winning medals, and you won medals by us performing. Now, to make us perform, a lot of the things they did was about our well-being, our health, etc. So I've sat in so many meetings with nutritionists, physiologists, physiotherapists, talking about how we look after ourselves, how we get enough sleep, etc. So the first thing is, are you looking after yourself? Like simple stuff, like I've got my massive water bottle here, and I know it looks a bit stupid, but it's got 2.4 litres of water in it, and I know that I've not drunk enough today. I filled this up earlier, by the way. We're in the afternoon. I've not only drunk that much,
Mhm.
but just do simple things to look after yourself. Take a multivitamin, get outside, get sunlight, try and get enough sleep. I know that's tough, particularly with people with children. But if you're not looking after your well-being, everything else is going to feel harder. Like we had that drummed into us. I meet some people now. Another way of looking at it, every time I went to the Paralympics, I wouldn't drink alcohol for that year. I'd eat really clean. As soon as it was finished, I'd be on a bender. And I do it for about 2 weeks and I feel like shit. And I think, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. So, like, you know, you've got to look after yourself. That's the first thing, because that will make everything easier to cope with. Take your bloody multivitamin. And these are all things that are free. They're all free, most of it, you know, not overly expensive. So do that. Try and eat enough protein. You know,
Yes.
don't eat too much. Don't eat rubbish. Simples. Okay, so that's the first thing. If you're finding something's challenging, get them right. Everything's going to be easier. Okay, now from a sports perspective, if we were trying to go or try something new, then we would probably look at what you can control and come up with processes. So, for example, with my shooting at the moment, I'm a relatively new athlete. I'm going into competition. I'm finding it a bit tough because it's very different to wheelchair rugby. So I'm speaking to my sports psychologist who's helping me. And what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and control the controllables. Now, I'm not suggesting people need to go and speak to a sports psychologist, but you could chat to, you know, someone in your mastermind group that you've just spoken about. You can chat to other people. You can try and get different perspectives and break things down. But there's normally always something you can do to make something easier. I mean, particularly now in the days of AI and the stuff that can help you with. I mean, I just use it to proof emails for me, but I've always struggled with my English. This is so amazing now that I can type out an email and have my own in-house copyright. I copy and paste it into there, and it will find mistakes. Brilliant when I'm mailing out big companies, you know. So kind of break things down and look at processes. But then I think it's also good to have a good support network. So when I was competing and I was training a lot and things were really, really tough, on the days when you weren't feeling it or it's difficult, I was speaking to my coach, John. I was speaking to my sports psychologist. I was speaking to my head coach of the team. I was speaking to my teammates. I was speaking to my wife. When you're having tough times, speak to people, because that will help you. They'll give you different perspectives. And if you need to kick up the bum, they'll kick you up the bum. If you need a hug, they'll give you a hug, you know. But people are very good at going, look, what you're worrying about isn't actually something to worry about, really, is it? And you'll go, oh, yeah, fair enough. Or actually, yeah, that's really bad. I can see why you feel like that. I'll try and help you, you know. So that's maybe 3 things. So first off, look after your well-being anyway. Second, look for processes. And third, get a good support network around you.
Amazing. Perfect.
That was a mad tangent. I hope that was all right.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Thank you very much for sharing, because very often people speak about the support network, having someone to help them. You know, it can be coach, or even you mentioned the sport psychologist, for example, help with some processes. It's like having that person to ask for help. It's so powerful, because chat with someone about it, because it can be anybody. Like sometimes people think like, yeah, I don't have money to hire a coach. Like, you don't need a coach. Like, find someone, another person who is in business, and just reach out, chat with them, or the Professional Speaking Association, right? So there is so many people in business, and they are happy to just jump on a call and have a chat and create that support group, which is very good. And I love what you speak about the health and energy and getting that going, because without that, like if we are not healthy, if we don't have the right energy, nothing is gonna move, nothing. So it's so important to like you mentioned, drinking water. Like my last event, I did a lot of events with Tony Robbins. So last event in September, they mentioned like for 4th time, and I finally like, yeah, I'm gonna get it. They mentioned, Joseph McClellan mentioned like, hey, get the water ionizer. You know, you need more pH in, you know, like, because we are obviously, so to level up our pH, you know, obviously in order to perform better. So I'm like, I finally got the ionizer, drinking great water, and small things like that. But it's all adds up to that energy that we can then use in business and life, and it's so important. Like energy is crucial for everything. Yeah. So thank you very much for sharing all those free steps or free tips for people.
That's okay. Yeah. And I mean, it was kind of common sense for us because we were athletes. So a lot of the things we did, we were going into very high pressure situations, but we were quite fortunate that they weren't life or death. They were just sport. But because it was driven by money, there was lots of resources behind it to push us to be good. So you just learn a lot through that, you know. But even now, when I speak to people and stuff, and I see some of their behaviours, and I get it. You know, we were very lucky that we were taught a lot of this.
Yeah.
But other people now, I don't think there's an excuse. There's so much information online about looking after yourself. It's not hard. The issue is that it all bloody contradicts itself. Yes. You read one thing, it will say this, another thing will say that. But as long as you're trying, I think that's a good thing to do.
Yeah. I think a lot of, if you've done any sports professionally for a certain period of time, the advantage of that is like it really builds that discipline and the habits which are so powerful in business. So I see a lot of people who are, achieving great things in sports. They are actually very good in business as well, because they build those habits because they know it's important and it works. Compared to some people, they are not doing sports or something like that. Sometimes they don't have that kind of a discipline and habits. Not everybody, but I see that common. Like if they achieve a lot in sports, very often they are very good in business.
I think the other thing is you're comfortable being uncomfortable. So, I've trained until I've blacked out and puked up all over myself. And that's not a very nice thing to do. But, if someone says, can you work on this? And you do it for 20 minutes, you think, well, that was easy. Like it's just, if you're used to pushing yourself so hard, other things become easy. It's the thing, isn't it? Train hard, play easy. It's the same, isn't it? Now I go into life and I get to go and do a talk and I speak to people and it takes me an hour and they're all shaking my hand and saying it was brilliant. And I'm thinking, okay, that's done. And I've put my heart and soul into it. But, it's not hard because I put a lot of effort into it. It's not hard versus some of the sports I've done.
Yes. Yeah. For the comparison. Perfect. Amazing. Is there anything else you would like to share today? Because we are like half an hour in, so I usually do it around half an hour for the listeners. To wrap it up, I think I asked a lot of questions already. So unless there is anything else you would like to really share, we'll wrap it up.
No, I guess my point would be to anyone listening, I think becoming an amputee was the worst and best thing that ever happened to me. Worst for obvious reasons, but best because it gave me a completely different outlook on life. And I think life can be cruel, life can be tough at times. And most of the time there is a silver lining. And if you can find that, it will make it much easier. So no matter what you're going through, you have a choice how you behave. And if you can try and see the positives in a negative, that will help you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing. It was amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.